The lessons of life, a labyrinth we stumble through from our tender beginnings in youth, that period of unblemished and confident ignorance. We believed ourselves to be fountains of knowledge, guided only by instinct and the tentative tutelage of our parents, elders, those who navigated the currents of time before us. Many tried to impart wisdom. Some of us, blessed with keen ears, absorbed these lessons. Others, alas, found themselves ensnared, trapped in the invisible web, spun by the negative energies that fueled our youthful choices. These energies, dark and insidious, harbor their own demons, and these imprison many a child. The lure of drugs, the solace of alcohol, the seductive dance with cigarettes, the fleeting gratification of promiscuous behavior, the defiant sting of bad attitudes, the verbal venom of profane speech, and alluring call of rebellion, all served as cages. Some, alas, even delved into the shadowy realms of deception, of theft, of a world wrought by the very lies they used to bolster their frail sense of self. As the years etch lines upon our faces, some of us, through a moment of clarity or perhaps a slow dawning of reason, perceive the errors of our ways. This revelation, painful though it might have been, spurred the necessary adjustments, a shifting, a transformation. We embarked often haltingly upon the path of self-improvement, striving towards our highest selves. But on the very same playground of life, others remained trapped. They were found homeless, strung out, imprisoned by the very substances, the alcohol, the cigarettes, the drugs, that they had once believed bestowed upon them a cloak of coolness. Many of them possessed the education level that would have been defined as low. Their understanding of the complexities of life was severely lacking. They knew the street life intimately, yet they failed to comprehend the fundamental rules of existence. They believed themselves to be victims of abuse, but in truth, it was the drugs, the alcohol, the toxic relationships that were the true abusers, preying on their vulnerabilities, toxic relationships fluctuating in and out of their lives. And the very concept of incarceration began in their minds. Some even began to act in such a way. It was the very current, the frequency that they were raised in, nurtured within the confines of their own households, where their mothers and fathers might have battled physically, where profane speech flowed, and where Mr. Demons lurking in the shadows found ample space to operate. We often fail to realize that the foundations of these destructive patterns were laid down long ago. But today, the clarity we have is far superior. We possess a clearer vision and a more complete understanding of what has transpired today. We comprehend, we see, we recognize how many people have arrived at the stage of life in which they currently reside. We witness it daily, lies and politics, a twisted version of alternative truths, an indoctrinated form of history, a tapestry woven of falsehoods designed to glorify the victor. In this case, the United States of America, a nation that professes to revere the teachings of Jesus the Christ. Yet its heart is heavy with hate, a hateful hate for the children of the former slaves, for foreigners. They refuse psychological help because the hate without cause is the unmistakable symptom of a disordered mind, an indication of being a host to a demon, a fallen angel, a Nephilim. How ironic, how warped this current reality is. But this reality need not be our prison. Raise your frequency, awaken to your higher self. Walk in that energy field of love. Allow that love to flow, to manifest through you, and you will change. In a twinkling of an eye, tell the truth. Shine the light upon the darkness of these lies. And let the sun of love shine through your very eyes.
are the resistance.